what you need for these are the allocable costs and the non-allocable costs, and these ones are stated in the cost statement. And the amounts shown in the Wirtschaftsplan are usually also in line with the ones shown in the cost statements, which we just looked at, for example. And this is, for example, what one of these protocols would look like. And this is what one of these Energieausweis looks like. Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're focusing on a key question for property buyers in Germany. What documents should you ask the broker for, or as we call him or her, the Makler, when you're considering a property to buy and to invest in? Knowing exactly what you need to request can help you make a smarter investment decision and avoid surprises. And now let's dive into the essential documents you need. Well, obviously first you need to find the property. I do that most of the times through Immobilien Scout, which is a platform in Germany where they offer different properties. You can see it right here, for example. I just typed in Freiburg, the city in which I'm buying most of my properties. And then the first thing you do is obviously you look through the pictures, look at the apartment, what it looks like, what the condition is. You also obviously do read through the description of the property, the basic or key information such as the construction year, maybe also the energy efficiency class, and then, as I said, also you need to go through the description. Whenever you think this is a suitable property for you to invest in, and really take, I'd say, 5 to 10 minutes to read through everything and to look at all of the pictures, you do contact the broker directly via Immobilien Scout. So when you click on this button, you can contact the broker, and I basically always use the same text, and we can quickly go through this. This is obviously now in German. I'm just going to translate it real quick. So it basically says, hello, Mr. or Mrs. My name is, and I'm looking for a possible real estate investment, and that's how I found your apartment, which you're selling at the moment. I'm really interested in the apartment, and I would be thankful if you could send me the exposé and other available documents via email. And that's basically it. That's the message you send to the broker. And the most important part, obviously, at the beginning is the exposé. So whenever you've sent this email, you usually get a response from the broker rather fast, I would say. Sometimes this mechanism is automated, which means that after you have sent your request or message initially, after a few seconds you get the answer straight back because it's automated fully. And sometimes they just do it manually, which means it might take a couple of hours or even days until you get the relevant documents. But now let's go through the exact documents. As I said before, the most important one is the exposé, and that's one of the first documents the Makler should provide. And the exposé is essentially the property's brochure. It includes an overview of key information like the property's address, the size, the room layout, and other features. You'll also find important details such as the asking price, the annual rent if it's rented out at the moment or whether it's empty, and sometimes also a brief description of the neighborhood. And let me just quickly show you what an exposé usually looks like. For example, if we have a look at that one, you usually just have a basic picture of the whole house, even though you're just buying one apartment, just so that you get a feeling of what it looks like if you're in front of the house. Then, as I said, some key information. The construction year is pretty important, but also obviously the area, or the Wohnfläche in German, the living space area, which is associated to the apartment, how many rooms it has. Then you can also see some rather relevant other financial data, such as the Hausgeld, which is basically the allocable and non-allocable costs, and also the asking price overall. And then also what is usually part of the exposé is just like a brief description of the apartment and the property, and also the whole house overall, how many apartments are usually are in this house. And then obviously the most important part, probably the pictures of the apartment itself. And that is just a basic exposé, which you usually get from the broker. In the end, there may be some ads about the broker as well. You can just skip that part, and then the broker itself, or him or herself. And that's basically the exposé. That's the first thing you look at whenever you need to get a closer view on the apartment, so make sure you get that from the broker. And as I just said, an exposé can give you a snapshot of the apartment, but remember that it's a marketing document, so don't rely on it alone. Rather, use it as a starting point and request additional documents to verify the details. Next up are the cost statements, or the Abrechnungen as we call them here in Germany. And these documents are crucial for understanding the ongoing expenses associated with the property. And you usually get these cost statements for the past 1, 2, or 3 years. Technically, only the last one available to you or to the broker is the really relevant one. And now let's have a look at one of these cost statements. This is what one could look like. So usually these cost statements are split into the allocable costs, which you can sort of hand over to the renter, which means that he or she, your renter, needs to pay for this. And then you also do have these non-allocable costs, which are mentioned in the second bucket here, which you have to cover as a landlord. And these cost statements are crucial for your financial calculation, right? If you haven't seen my other videos, make sure to watch at least the spreadsheet video in which I analyze one apartment in more detail using this calculator. And what you need for these are the allocable costs and the non-allocable costs, and these ones are stated in the cost statement. What you see here is the annual amount, which is relevant, which means that these 1,350 euro, if you would round it, you would need to divide that by 12 to get it on a monthly basis and to then put it in here. And the same is also true for the non-allocable costs. So in sum, these cost statements are really important for you to do your financial calculation. And what you can also see from these cost statements is which parts are the most expensive ones. For example, in this case here, the warm and cold water expenses are really high and make up a big part of these 1,300 euros. And that's some good information to have as well. In addition to these cost statements, you also do have the Wirtschaftsplan, which is basically a plan of the next year and which also describes the annual costs which are associated to the property, again split up into the allocable costs, the first bucket over here, and then also the non-allocable costs. So it's sort of a forecast for the next year. And the amounts shown in the Wirtschaftsplan are usually also in line with the ones shown in the cost statements, which we just looked at, for example. This plan is particularly important for a condo or an apartment, as it outlines what each owner will be expected to contribute to cover shared expenses. The Wirtschaftsplan can give you insights into upcoming maintenance projects or significant expenses like roof repairs or facade renovations, for example. If there is a high expected cost, this might mean higher contributions for owners in the future. So it's essential to review this plan carefully before deciding to invest. Also, what you can see here in the forecast or in the Wirtschaftsplan is your part or your addition to the maintenance reserve. And in this case, this is actually a really low number, right? Only 71 euros for this whole year, which means that divided by 12, this is significantly less than 10 euros a month, which you put into the maintenance reserve. That's also part of the calculation tool or template, and you would have to put this amount in here. Next up are the protocols, or Protokolle in German. For condo or apartment buildings, make sure to request the minutes from the recent Homeowners Association meetings. And these records are invaluable because they reveal discussions and decisions on topics that could highly impact your investment. The minutes will highlight any ongoing issues within the building, upcoming projects, or disputes among owners. They might also indicate whether the Homeowners Association is planning significant repairs, renovations, or even legal actions. By reviewing these minutes, you can get a sense of the building's overall condition, management quality, and potential for future costs. And this is, for example, what one of these protocols would look like. You can see the different items which are being discussed. They're all chronologically set up in this document. There may be some administrative topics which are usually at the beginning, but then in the end you also see more important topics which concern renovations or repairs which are planned and which the Homeowners Association needs to align on or discuss. Also, you can see the results of the last decisions which were taken, and that's also very interesting to see what the different homeowners of the different topics actually think. Next up is the Energieausweis, or the energy efficiency class certificate. This document provides information on the property's energy efficiency class and is a good indicator of the potential utility costs. It includes the building's energy rating, energy consumption per square meter, and any recommendations for improving its energy efficiency. A high energy rating obviously means lower utility costs, which can be appealing to tenants. If the rating is low, it can mean higher energy bills or even potential upgrades down the line. Reviewing the Energieausweis will help you to estimate the ongoing costs and see if any energy efficiency improvements might be needed in the future. And this document is becoming increasingly more important since banks only want to hand out loans for apartments with a higher energy efficiency class. And this is what one of these Energieausweis looks like. You can see the key facts about the house itself, how big it is, when it was built. And down here you can see the rating. In this case, this would be rather good, right? Between C and D. I also have other apartments which are rather at the end of the spectrum, going towards G and H even, which is really not good. And that's something you need to work on over the next couple of years. If you're starting off with investing in properties or apartments, I would make sure to buy an apartment with a at least decent energy efficiency class, anywhere up to D or maybe even E, but not below E. Just to make sure that this is not going to be a problem whenever you want to finance the apartment, but also in the upcoming years. And usually on the last page of this Energieausweis, you do see actions you could take or the homeowners could take in case they want to improve their energy efficiency. In this case, they're saying, okay, you could renew the windows, you could also provide insulation to the roof, and also maybe renew your heating system. And yep, that's pretty much it. And now these are the documents which are really important to get a first glance on the apartment and the property overall. In addition, there are also many other documents which you could ask for example, the Grundbuchauszug, the Teilungserklärung, the Flurplan, Lageplan, and other documents which also describe the location and the property itself in more detail. However, these are the ones you only need if you really want to go into the financing part, meaning you go to your bank and you tell them that you want to finance this apartment. In summary, when talking to the broker, make sure to ask for these essential documents. The Exposé for a general overview, cost statements like the Abrechnungen to understand the ongoing expenses, the financial plan or the Wirtschaftsplan for future cost projections, the homeowners association meeting minutes or the Protokolles or Protokolle in German to identify any upcoming issues or projects on the house, and finally the energy performance certificate, or also called Energieausweis, to assess the property's energy efficiency. Having these documents will give you a comprehensive overview and understanding of the property's condition and financial requirements. And with that, we're done. That's it. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys soon. Take care. Bye.